Well, welcome everyone to episode 5 of my mini-series which I've called Levelling Up Life. If this is your first video, why don't you go and watch the other 4 where you'll then get a better idea of what's going on, and you can also see the progress that I've made in the past 3 years in an attempt to level up my life. A bit like the instruction video, I don't want this video to be too long, but I am going to sort of have a little conclusion and review into what I've learned from the past 3 years and my experiences, how I can use those and apply them to future. So we'll start with episode 2, which was my first bucket list tick. Something close nearby in the local area, something that was really easy to tick off. I decided to walk, run and cycle the Humber Bridge in the same day. It didn't have to be the same day on my bucket list, it just had to be done at some point in my life. But we woke up early to watch the sunrise and walk the bridge, and at that point I thought, I've got the time, I'll try and run it and cycle it in the same day, and that's what I did. So at the time, to get something big like that ticked off my bucket list felt good. It felt good when I completed it. I also felt good doing it. I really enjoy doing exercise. I do go to the gym and whatnot, and it does help my mental state a lot doing exercise, any type of exercise. So maybe that's something to remember going into the future, where I record videos or go on trips, maybe do some fun activities within there that relate to exercise, running, walking maybe. But all along, that was going to be the most simple task. I didn't have to travel very far, and it wasn't too strenuous. Plus, technically speaking, it wasn't time-based. It was just by chance that I happened to end up doing it all on the same day. So on Wednesday night, episode 3 got released, and that was my first ever solo trip. I put some of it already on the channel and called it Completing Salisbury, because the whole idea of going down on the trip, because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, was to sort of do everything that you can do in Salisbury and try and do it all within the 4 nights that I was there. The main reason as well was to tick off another bucket list item of seeing Stonehenge at the summer solstice. So in 2024, I was lucky enough, and luckily I had the bravery to go down there and do that. And this was a wonderful experience. Everything about it, what I saw, how I felt about myself, like what I managed to achieve. Because I'm on my own, I had to, if I needed anything or wanted any information that I couldn't find online, I actually had to speak to people and the locals that were there. I also met plenty of other tourists, which are just lovely, because obviously with me never going anywhere, particularly abroad, I don't know, there's this weird feeling that I get of like, wow, you're from Australia, that's like impossible to get there basically. It's basically Narnia, where you need to open one of the magic wardrobes to see this world, but no, it is achievable. And there's people that do it and come here from there, obviously, like I've met. So yeah, I definitely say that trip has helped me realise I am probably a lot stronger. There were some tough times. I mean, this camera broke, which was a tough time, because again, the whole reason I've gone is for the mental memories, but also the recorded memories, where I can look back in the future at what I've achieved and sort of help to bring back the mental memories to the front of my brain. And another good thing about that trip is I enjoyed it so much. It did sort of reinforce the fact and make me certain that this is what I want to do in my life. Go out travelling, meeting new people, seeing new things, and documenting it. And don't get me wrong, I was nervous. I tell you something, in the month leading up to this trip, I was waking up in the middle of the night, sort of thinking and worrying, like, what if my car breaks down when I get there? What if it breaks down coming back? Anything that you could possibly think of going wrong, I'd think of it. But that is what I'm like, and even in the future, no matter how many experiences like this that I go on, it probably won't change. But I do have to push through that and learn to push through that to achieve what I would like to achieve and potentially live a better life. So as far as that trip to Salisbury goes, yeah, it was great, and creating a highlights video of it was a great way to look back on the memories, the most important memories, in a short enough video, and yeah, again, just realise what I have actually managed to achieve. So then the 4th episode of the series was my first ever flight. This I was actually less nervous for. This was after the Salisbury trip, so I'd already, again, learned certain things from there about myself, what I can do, sort of not to panic, and that I'm in my own control. And that at any point, I don't have to do this, I can just, go out of it, take myself out of the situation, go back home, all the rest of it. So yeah, I went on the Flying with Confidence course provided by British Airways, and it was great. It had everything that I needed. It's probably perfect. Rather than throwing myself straight into the deep end, where I've never been to an airport, so I don't know what I'm doing, and putting myself on an actual flight, it was perfect that I could be guided through the airport, guided on the flight with the the captain over the speakers, telling us, describing to us exactly what's going on, and beforehand also having 2 lessons, one on how a plane works, the science of it, and why you should be safe, and also a psychology session on how best not to panic and how best to settle those nerves if you do panic. And I'll be honest, it was completely fine. It was enjoyable. I could happily jump on a plane tomorrow and go and see the world, and that is a delightful thing to say and something that I never thought I'd say as a youngster because, we watch the news a lot at home and it's on the news because it's rare, but, every now and again you hear about plane crashes and whatnot, and I'd always think, oh, I don't want to go on then, why would I put my life at risk? But realistically, you risk your life every day anyway, and whether it's at work or in a car or anywhere, to be honest, like you never know what can happen. And air travel is one of, if not the safest ways to travel, statistically. With all of those adventures behind me now then, and the series coming to an end, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about myself, what I can achieve, but also to do with the videos actually as well. I probably, like for my solo trip completing Salisbury, I probably edit it slightly differently and try and make it more entertaining for people watching, particularly when, like, I'm somewhat interested in museums and stuff, but when it comes to filming them and documenting them, it's not the most entertaining, is it? So I'll probably include less of that with some music on top. So at the minute I did a post-com, I just think having 30 seconds to a minute of it where people can watch it with a little bit of music that links would be better. Anyway, that's some like naff behind the scenes and that I don't really need to tell you about. But yeah, I've learnt a lot about like documenting, recording, how to get things across to the viewer, and also about myself, what I can achieve, how I cope on my own, because I've never really been on my own in terms of living and whatnot. And the fact that now I know I can go on a plane and, travel the world is an absolute delight, because then it just reignites that fire that I have to go and complete things off my bucket list, get this camera out, document them, not worry about what people think. Why should you worry about what people think of you? It's bad enough anyway. I mean, when you're holding a camera there in the middle of anywhere but Salisbury, where I've been, for example, like I was doing, you do sort of become immune to it and get used to it, of people looking at you. They are going to look at you because it is slightly out of the ordinary. That said, nowadays it probably is coming more into fashion, if you like. But yeah, I feel good at the moment, and over the past 3 years, I certainly feel better about myself. I've been more confident. I've been pushing myself to do more things that I'd like to do, and to be quite honest, it's going to sound funny, but I am leveling up my life. It's certainly gone from here and slowly, we've climbed up, and hopefully there's a lot more potential and a lot more room to go. So I said that I didn't want this video to be too long, just a quick little mini series based on what I've done, updating you guys and myself. So I best stop talking, otherwise we run the risk of this being a really long video, probably where I repeat myself and it all becomes pointless. So what I will say is, if you have enjoyed this video and you've seen the entire series and you've enjoyed it, thank you so much for watching. Please do leave your feedback below. Tell me a bit about yourself and your personal stories, if you've been through anything like this where you've had to push yourself out of your comfort zone in an attempt to, sort of get you out of an unhappy place. If you have liked what you've seen in recent videos, please do consider subscribing to the channel and liking all the videos. It would mean a lot to myself personally, but also to the channel while it's in a pretty young state at the minute. I think I've said it in every single video that I've worked on during the summer break, but if you are here and you tend to watch the football vlogs, they will be back for the Premier League season, so don't you worry about that. That's one of the things I love the most, is Hull City, and yeah, I think I've had some great feedback on the vlogs. I enjoy doing them. I particularly enjoy looking back on them. I look back on the Coventry one at the start of the year, and I can also see how my production has evolved for the better as well, and I just think that they're going to get better and better. So I've said what I've said, everything that I'd like to have covered. Thank you again for sticking with me and listening to me potentially drone on about certain things. But yeah, hopefully I'll see you again soon. Till next time.